Hello adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have something that you guys have been asking for that I'm very excited to finally be sharing. I have been traveling for about 5 calendar years, and throughout that time I've tried a variety of different power stations that are smaller up to larger ones. But one thing that has been missing is a comparable option that is 1,000 watts or higher. I have been looking and scouring everywhere to find one that I thought I would feel comfortable sharing with you guys, and so today we're going to be looking at something kind of fun. It's the Alpha ESS. This is a 1,000 watt power station, and well, I got it in a box the other day and I want to unbox it with you. So here we go. Okay, first and foremost, it came in this large box, but I went ahead and took it out of the box because I needed to make sure everything was intact. Inside this big box was this also large box, and you can see here some of the specs on the outside of the box. It's eco-friendly, efficient, portable power station by Alpha ESS. This is an AP1000, and so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like, but of course we're going to open it up and learn a little bit more. We'll look at the box after we do that so we can learn a little bit more about all of the different charging options. But without further ado, let's get inside, and we're going to be doing this with one hand, so this could be interesting. Okay, there's a pull tab and then a first flap. This is pretty much how all the power stations that I have received always come in, with additional packaging. But then, ooh, right on top, nice big foam, and it looks like all of our cords are going to be up here. So we have, looks like a battery bank, which has a plug, so we can use this on like a wall whenever we're here at base camp. We can also use this if we take it into like a Starbucks. Then here we have a couple of the other cord pieces. This is of course the wall plug, the traditional home plug right here that plugs into that battery bank. But then also we have this, which we can plug directly into the van itself and charge it as we're driving. But I'm super curious about this one. Notice that this is a USB-C, double-ended. Not sure yet how this is going to come in to play because, well, none of the other power stations have had one like this. So we're just going to take all of these and kind of put them to the side and then check a few other things out. There is a 12-month warranty, so a 1-year warranty after you purchase. You just register it. It has a little code and everything, so that's pretty neat. And then here's the user manual, which we will be referencing as we get to know this power station better. Now, under this massive piece of foam, which is several inches thick, as you can see, that's where the power station lives. So let's take this out and check it out. Oh my goodness. This guy right here is big, and it has a protective coating around it, like a little plastic. So they wanted to make sure it didn't get scratched up in transit. Here you can see that there are 2 charging stations on top for your cell phone, so you can just like lay them on top and it'll charge your phone, which is really cool. The handle, as you can see, folds down, and it's a nice beefy handle, so as we're picking it up, this should make it a little bit easier. Okay, I went ahead and put it up onto the countertop here so we can look at it a little bit closer, and this thing is pretty big. I'm just saying, this is a very large power station, but despite its size, I'm pretty impressed. It wasn't super heavy to pick up. But we want to look at all the different features now and kind of go through those, so let's get a little closer. Okay, starting off over here, we have some USB ports and some USB-C ports. These are supposed to be rapid charge, so that's interesting. They also have 3 AC plugs on the front, and as you can see, each one of them has the wider plug, which I have noticed is good because it works with the European conversions also. So this is pretty cool. Here we have the 12 volt section, and as you can see, this has a nice cover on the front, which will help a lot because I've noticed that power stations that do not have one of these end up getting some oxidization on the inside. So they're protecting this port, and that is wonderful. And then right here we have the input itself. So this is where the power will come into the power station whenever we're charging it. Now, something interesting on this one, you might be able to see this. It says info here, so we can touch the info button, and I'm assuming this means that it did not come charged because nothing is turning on. So typically I think this is where we would check it out to see how much battery we have. But before we do that, I'm gonna have to charge it up. But before we do, oh my goodness, most power stations do have a small light of some kind. This uses the entire backside as a light. So once we get the charge going on this guy, this is going to be very bright, I feel. So without further ado, now we are going to plug it in. Now, in order to plug this in, all we have to do is just line up the two little puzzle pieces. As you can see, each one has a side to it, and then you just kind of line them up, push them in. Okay, and then that part is connected. It looks like this after it is connected, and so now we will plug this end into the power station and the other end into the wall. This easily goes into the plug, and instantly you already see power coming on as it is showing that it is starting to charge. Here you see the display itself as it is starting to charge. It's telling you how many watts are coming in, and it usually will take a few minutes for it to fully start pulling charge with any power station, so you can see how many watts are actually coming. So that's going to take a little bit. Right now it's showing we have 90 watts going out, so probably a button is on somewhere. Okay, I looked on the back and surely the light was turned on. It doesn't actually pull 90 watts. It was trying to regulate for the full amount of output that it could be potentially catching. So it is now showing that 0 watts are coming out and it's building up on watts coming in. Currently, we are pulling about 41 watts off of the wall. So that's not quite as much as I was expecting, but again, it is still building. So we'll give it some time and check back in on it in just a little bit. In the meantime, let's talk about the different things that are on this particular power station right here. The box itself is very descriptive, very handy. I would definitely say this is a very user-friendly box so that you could learn a little bit more about the power station without even having to crack open the manual. This is very nice. So on the bottom here, I noticed something that was kind of interesting. They have number 9 and number 10 is the lights and light switch. Number 7 and number 8 are the wireless charging. They have 2 ports. And then also there's an indicator light on the top. So let's go look at the power station itself to see where that is. Okay, you can see here's wireless charging ports, but right in the middle, that's where the thing that tells you if it's working or not. So if I were to set my cell phone on top of this after it's charged, it would light up to tell me that it is in fact working. So that's really cool. This is one of the only power stations that I've seen that has the top part that also has an indicator light on it. So that's very neat and very different. And then we have everything up top. So A is the recharge status indicator, and that is going to be right over here at the input. Again, it lights up. So if we look at that on the corresponding power station, you see that that is the light right here. Right below that is actually something that they label as number 1, which is the input port. And then C is going to be your display for the input coming in. So that's kind of neat how they have everything so clearly marked. But you can continue looking at this and see where everything is very clearly. And this is perfect if you've never used a power station before for getting acclimated with the process. The box is also pretty awesome because it has a in-depth specifications list on the side, and the print on this is much larger than some of the other power stations. So this is a lithium-ion battery. It has over 1,000 life cycles. It talks a little bit more about the support solar panel charging, so I could actually plug this into a solar port and it would charge up. Also, it gives you the recharging operation temperature, and it says that this power station is good for up to 104 degrees. So anything after that, it's going to be a little bit iffy, but that's any power station, and we all know that we all have them out in temperatures that are not ideal sometimes. So with that said, I am going to be going ahead and taking it out anyway into the hot sun and feeling very confident after using other power stations of this kind. It weighs about 25 pounds. It definitely didn't feel like it though. The way that they have distributed the weight felt very comfortable to lift. And so this is a good one, guys. Last but not least, it has the what's inside on here, and I really appreciate this because it tells you right out, this is what you're going to find in the box. So if you don't find one of these items, you know that something is missing and can contact the company directly. So it has all of their contact information on this panel as well. It's been charging for a few minutes now, but it's still only pulling in about 42 watts straight out of the plug. This is usually where I get a lot more wattage. In fact, I can normally plug in one of the other power stations that I have and they pull about 100 to 200 watts off the plug. So I'm kind of confused about this, but it may be nothing. It may be nothing at all. We will find out soon. Okay, so it has been charging for about an hour and you can see it finally regulated. It's now pulling in about 180 watts. I knew it would. It just took it a little bit to get to that point. And this could be because it's a brand new power station. It has to kind of figure out its bearings. I don't know how power station ingenuity works when it comes to design. But in that hour, I've already gained 11% of battery. I'm noticing I always touch things to kind of see how they feel as they're charging, just to make sure there's not any heat or anything. And it still feels cool to the touch, so it's not doing anything crazy. But yeah, 11% already, that's pretty good. Okay, it's a little bit later in the afternoon and we've made it up to 49%. So I thought this was a good time to do our first test. And this one is something that I'm really curious about. It's this little charging pad up top. Now remember how we talked about that the lights would come on whenever it is on? So I was trying to figure out how to do that. So this is kind of what I did to figure it out. I started out by taking my phone out of the case for this test. Now I can leave it in there. However, I have noticed that because this is one of those OtterBox cases, it has 2 layers and then it also has a metal plate on the outside and on the inside because of my magnet mount. So typically those things hinder me from being able to use one of these lay down shelf moments. So I went ahead and just removed it and now we're going to look at it. So if I place the phone on top, this does not come on immediately and it doesn't start charging. So I looked in my handy dandy manual. This is why I always say the manual is something you should go through at least once. And it said that I will take this info button right here and double click it. And whenever I do, it turns on the port. So sure enough, it did. Now, whenever you're looking to charge a device, all you do is just kind of find the sweet spot for where it picks up, which is right here for me. And then you look and it shows the little lightning bolt. So it is in fact charging. Now, while it's charging, the little blue light that you see on the top will go and cycle on and off slowly. And so that's working now. So I could just leave my phone here and let it continue charging. Now on the output for that guy right there, right now I'm pulling about 9 watts out. So 9 watts for me to charge my phone. This is going to be a little bit of a faster charge supposedly than plugging it in with the USB. So that's pretty cool. Now I know some of you are probably going to ask, could I charge it in this case? So let's find out. Okay, here we go. And let's see. Kind of just sliding it across, and my phone has a little vibrate that comes on whenever it happens. So I'm waiting for that, but it's not picking up on the vibrate. If I do it this way, nope, not in that case. But I'm yet to find a single one of these easy pads like this that will actually charge through this particular case. So I'm probably going to end up replacing this case in the long run because that is very inconvenient, and this would give me a really nice option for charging so that I don't always have to be using the port, which can wear the phone down faster. Now something else we notice on here, whenever we're looking at this, it has an accurate percentage reading, so 49% currently. I do like the dual tone in the display, the outline being in that like whitish blue light, and then the actual cells being in the green. This would be very easy to see at night also. Now that we have a little bit of charge to this, this is probably going to be blinding, but whoo, yeah, that's really, really bright in person. And you can see as it fades out kind of the rest of the screen where all of those bulb placements are. So you have tons of bulbs. A typical light on one of these is usually only like one of these little dots or maybe 2. So that's how many lights there are, and it is blinding in here. So let's go through the modes really quickly. We have the first light, which is dim. Then we have a medium light, and then we have a super bright light, and then it turns off. But this is actually a little bit more than just a singular light with 3 functions. It actually can be a security light also. So if you are stranded on the side of the road or otherwise trying to get attention, you can double click and it gives you a nice safety strobe so that people will know that you are there and be able to find you. Again, 1 click to turn off. I think this is a good time to talk about the handle now a little bit closer. This is a nice size handle for gripping, and I really think that it has a substantial feel to it. It very much so feels like one of those lunchbox handles that you see, but it also has a little bit of an edge cover right here to make it really secure and snug whenever it's placed in this down position. So that's very nice. I really do like that it's kind of at a little bit of an angle also, so it makes gripping it in different ways easier, and so you can get a good grip very, very quickly. And then that really took the weight off of it whenever I picked it up because of the distribution, so it felt a lot lighter than 25 pounds. Now, as you can see, this is going to be a fun ride with this new power station, but as always, I'm going to test it out for approximately 1 to 2 months before I share my full review with you, but I did want to share it with you so you can see what's available out there and kind of give you a little bit of a walkthrough and show you some of the features. Now, this is going to be perfect for anyone who is looking for something that is a larger watt power station because it does have tons of different options, so I'm really excited about using this one and sharing more as I go. Now, throughout my next adventures, you'll be seeing me plug in random things, you'll be seeing me test it in different places, and I hope that you're up for the ride because this one's going to be a fun one, guys. The larger power station offers us a few additional things that some of the smaller ones do not when it comes to devices that we can use, so ooh, this is gonna be fun. So stay tuned, it's gonna be awesome. Remember guys, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time, and with enough power, you can have a real good time while you're in a van, let me tell you. So I'm looking forward to sharing this adventure with you guys. Till next time, bye!